G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another episode of r/AmITheA ahole. Now if you love this one like I love you, be sure to smash that like button and tell me what you think about it. Who is the a-hole in this situation? Anyway guys, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Posted by user Flatfoot Idiot, titled, Am I the a-hole? I cut somebody's water off as they were wasting it. 30 years ago, my grandfather dug a well. It supplies our home and has a pump to supply water to a mini water tower thing to give our homes water pressure. Another person built a house nearby and there was an agreement for them to plumb into our fresh water supply for limited domestic use. Cooking, cleaning, toilets, etc. This agreement has stood for 10 years without any problems. So, what's been going wrong? The house next door was sold. It's now starting to get hot, so the neighbor next door has been filling a swimming pool. I don't see a problem with this. What I do see a problem with is they fill the pool and drain it every single day. Based on my calculations, they're wasting close to 400,000 liters of water every single day. When I told them they can't waste water like this, they told me to go screw myself because the water is free and nobody owns it. So, I gave them a warning showing them that the water supply belonged to us and it wasn't free at all. I was told to F off again. I watched as they filled their pool again and drained it again. I simply turned off their valve supplying their home, which is on our land. They now have no water whatsoever as they tried to fill their pool again this morning. They're now complaining and whining about not having any water. I told them they can get a tanker to come and fill their pool and supply them. Am I the a-hole about this? Not the a-hole, morally, but you need legal advice. Not the a-hole. What the heck is the point of filling and emptying the pool? Is this some pool maintenance strategy I'm not aware of? No, I have a pool. It's time consuming and downright stupid. My same thoughts, not the a-hole. I hate draining my pool. And what's the point of doing it when you have fresh water in it, and you're going to use it the next day? That's just a waste of water. Pools are a lot of maintenance, and they may not want to deal with it, even though draining and filling every day is probably more work. Could also be that their filtration system isn't working, or maybe it's so hot that they want the water to remain cool and not heat up over multiple days. Not defending anyone for this. For the record, this is incredibly stupid and wasteful. The only thing I can think of is that they're too lazy to properly maintain the water. If they fill it fresh and drain it every day, they might see it as a workaround to chlorinating and proper maintenance. I'd maybe amend that first sentence slightly to too stupid rather than too lazy. There's no way properly maintaining a pool is more work or time intensive than refilling and draining it every single day. Most of the articles I can find online suggest pool maintenance is a weekly endeavor. Not the a-hole. That is an absolutely ludicrous waste of water. Yeah, like who does this? Then they told the person supplying the water to piss off? I would have done the same thing, not the arsehole. Posted by user FirmShare3, titled, Am I the a-hole for buying my 5th property rather than helping out my siblings? For context, even when I, 44 male, was a child, I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses. I work as an architect and am doing quite well for myself. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago, where I rent out both parts. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are getting rented out as holiday homes, while the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing of these houses. I rent in New York City at the moment, as my job has made me move here temporarily. My brother, 48 male, does an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids, while my wife and I are childless. They are currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. While they have found their dream house, it's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal on the property, however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially, very happy for me. My brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I just laughed and said flat out no. Edit, thought this was a joke. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I am a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife, we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently, this was insulting to him, having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we have been saving. I told him to pee off and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put family first, and it's not like we are struggling for money. Now I am confused. Am I the a-hole? Edit. This edit is super late, but I just want to clarify my brother does have money for a 4-bedroom house. He isn't broke, just not enough money for his dream house. The dream house is approximately double as expensive. Not the a-hole. First off, I believe when there's an expectation of gratitude to the point of getting upset at not receiving it, it becomes greed. Plain old selfish greed. It's admirable you decided to turn the biggest gain in your home-owning career, thus far, into a gift for your family, with a very reasonable landlord agreement. They are being ridiculously entitled for just assuming their better-off relatives are obligated to give them a house for free. Edits. And I can't believe the irony behind them feeling insulted by having family be a landlord, but don't think it's insulting to demand a large amount of money from family just because they're more financially successful. Thank you for your comment. There are a couple of comments here I'd like to respond to, but yours seems best to me. It's a bit of an upsetting situation for me actually. They've used my holiday homes before free of charge, and I have college funds for his children and my sister's child. I bought his family an SUV when his second child was born. I think we are reaching the point where he thinks I'm more of a bank than a brother. Yeah, you're a bank to him, not a brother. He's being greedy. If he was really desperate for a home, he would have took your offer. Plus, you have money set aside for his children and your sister's child. You bought him an SUV. Clearly, he's using you. This may sound harsh, but I believe you should cut him off permanently. If other family members act like you're the bad guy, cut them off too. You didn't mention how his kids act towards you, but if they're anything like Dad, just cut them out. You sound like a generous person. You don't need that from them. Sometimes family isn't really family when you share the same DNA. I learned that the hard way, and had to completely cut family out of my life. Sounds like you made wise decisions with money. It's not your fault that they don't know how to manage theirs. Good luck to you, enjoy that house in France. You gave them a very generous offer. If he was desperate, he'd have been grateful and jumped at it. I can understand a large family struggling in a small apartment, but anyone struggling would have thanked you for your offer. It just shows he's not desperate and just wants money and luxury handed to him. I'm sorry that your family is just seeing your money. Not the a-hole at all. For what it's worth, I'm your brother in my life. I have 2 kids in an apartment and just can't afford to purchase what we need right now. My sister-in-law just bought her 3rd home, and I'll admit there's always twinges of jealousy and the fleeting thought that it'd be nice if she'd help us out. But that's just me being a brat. Obviously I'm not entitled to someone else's money. I can sense jealousy from my brother at times too. Given your personal position, do you have any ideas of how I can adjust something like that without becoming a bank account for him? I also have a sibling who makes substantially more than I do. I do okay, but they clearly have more. There are certainly times when I'm jealous of them. For example, her getting to stay home with her children, but me realizing that's not financially an option for us. What is nice is that they will occasionally cover expenses for things as a gift for me. If I come down to visit, they will likely pay for dinners, or if we go shopping, they may pay for whatever I'm buying. I think the key is that they are small gestures and done randomly. I certainly don't expect or ask for things, they just offer. However, it sounds like in your case they are expecting large amounts and unwilling to compromise. In your case, I think you're justified in totally backing off and not giving anything. While you are still not the a-hole, I think the timing of your announcement has more to do with this. I think everyone agrees that in a perfect world, everyone is happy for everyone else, but it's not perfect. Instead, it's very predictable. It was very easy to see where this was going to go as soon as you posted that you announced that you were going to buy a 5th house while your brother was struggling to buy his first. Your family doesn't have to know all your business. While it's understandable that you want to share the news of your good fortune with your family, it will never be fully well received unless you're willing to actually share your good fortune. Next time, wait until closing so you can honestly tell them your money is all tied up closing costs. Posted by user Private Buckeye, titled, "Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister and brother-in-law sleep in my room instead of the living room? My sister, brother-in-law, and their son moved in with me due to financial issues. They have been here for around a month now. I only have a 2-bedroom place though, so my sister and brother-in-law have been bunking down in our living room and their son is staying in my son's room. They've asked if we could change the sleeping arrangements so they, sister and brother-in-law, get one of the bedrooms and the boys stay in the living room. She said she and her husband were having problems because they never have any privacy for just the two of them. I said no to that because my son, who is autistic, needs to keep his sleeping arrangements and space the same, otherwise he will have a meltdown, and I'll have a hard time getting him to bed. My sister understood that, and then asked if I could stay in the living room then, instead of the couple who could share a bed. And yeah, from a neutral point of view it makes more sense, but come on, this is my home. I want to keep my private area to myself in my home. It's already driving me crazy having them here all the time. It's only going to be worse if I don't have some place to retreat to. I also don't want to have to sleep on a couch or air mattress in my home. I want to sleep in my bed where I don't wake up with a backache. Also, let's be real. I don't want my sister having sex in my bed. If I had a guest room, I wouldn't care. But them being in my own personal bed just makes me uncomfortable. Like, I totally get that not having privacy and not being able to have sex sucks for them, but I don't think that should affect me. So I told her no to that too, and now my sister and brother-in-law are basically giving me the silent treatment. They're also both getting snippy with each other and arguing in hushed tones. Wait, she asked if she could have your son's bed so they could do it whenever they want? That's just wrong. She asked if they could have the room for privacy and time alone, but to me, that sounds like they want to have sex. That's exactly what they wanted. Info. Is your sister-in-law paying any rent? They pay for utilities and groceries. Let them stay on the couch. You're in the right, and the fact that they want privacy to have sex in your bed is very disturbing. Not the a-hole, but you should make sure you're within your rental rights to have that many people living in your apartment. If it's not allowed in your lease, and you get found out, they can rightfully evict you. So now you and your child have nowhere else to live. Sis and brother-in-law need to stop worrying about sex and start worrying about having their own place to live. I'm not renting, I own the place. Oops, my bad, apologies for assuming. I'm not sure they're being the a-hole, because so far it seems they've respected your answer. Sure, it's a little weird to ask that, but generally, I'm okay with people asking, so long as they accept the answer. But their concerns are real, so maybe you could try to help them out by taking the kids out every so often and letting them have some time to themselves. Not that you're obligated, but it would be a really sweet thing to do, like, have that little, hey, I'm taking the kids for a movie, have fun, wink wink. Just a thought. As of right now, not the a-hole. Not exactly anywhere I can take them. Yeah, let's take the kids out during the pandemic, that sounds like a good idea. Posted by user Part Yogurt Closet 7, titled, "Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife I had a vasectomy? I've been married to my wife for 2 years now, and she's always wanted to have a child with me. She mentions it often. I've even been trying to have one with her. The problem is that I've had a vasectomy and she doesn't know. My ex-wife came over and dropped off our 3 kids, 9, 5, and 4, and she's pregnant by her now husband. Well, her and my wife were talking about her new baby and if she knew the gender. Now, my ex knows that I've been fixed, as I did so after our youngest was born. Well, my wife says, I can't wait to be pregnant. We've been trying to have a baby with no luck, but it will happen when God allows it. My ex just smiled, and then she looked at me, and I knew what she was thinking with the look she gave me. Later, she texted me and told me I needed to tell my wife the truth and that she had baby fever, and it was cruel to give her false hopes, and pretty much called me an a-hole. So, am I the a-hole? I know it's a little dishonest, but it would break my wife's heart to know the truth. I've even been quote-unquote trying to have one with her, and that's why you're the a-hole. Opie, you're the a-hole, this is exactly why. So what? Every month your wife tracks her ovulation, you two have sex multiple times during the fertile window, and then you comfort her with maybe next month, when she gets her period. With every passing month she doesn't get pregnant, you keep her hopes and dreams alive with lies? What type of selfish a-hole are you? What are you going to do when, after a year of trying, she goes to a specialist to see why she hasn't conceived? Are you going to refuse to go with her? Tell her the truth and let her choose the life and partner she wants. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone else, but she deserves to make an informed choice. He'll probably insist it must be her since he has 3 bio kids already. It's definitely what he's been doing. OP is the crappiest person I've seen on this subreddit in a while, and that's saying something. Has to be a troll, I'm thinking. And if this bloody pandemic's been anything to go by, you have a lot more faith in humanity than I do. You're the a-hole if you're not a troll. You sound like a sociopath trying to pretend you have emotions about this. Who the hell lies about being able to have children with someone they're married to and actively trying to have kids with for 2 fudging years? I know someone who contemplated getting a vasectomy and not telling his wife after they were already married and knowing that she desperately wanted a baby. And yes, he is a sociopath. Yes, this. He's only worried about upsetting her because it will upset his reality. I hope it's fake, it's so gross. Look, I'm gonna go with here, Chief. This sounds fake to me, and if it isn't fake, Jesus Christ. Oh, I hope he gets clapped for that. That is just a miserable thing to do to someone. That's probably one of the worst things you can do without hurting someone, but, like physically, but you probably are hurting them physically. Jesus, I'm twisting my own words here. OP sucks. I hate OP. Posted by user someone someplace, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling someone to stop jogging with their French Bulldog?" As you know, French Bulldogs have breathing issues due to their deformed noses. I saw a girl jogging with her French Bulldog. I told my wife I wanted to say something, but she said not to, so I didn't. A few days later, I saw the same girl and dog around my neighborhood walking, so I took this chance to say something. I told her to please consider her dog's breathing issues when jogging. She told me when she jogs with him, she does intervals of light jogging for 1 minute, then does 3 minutes of walking for 15 to 20 minutes, and she only does this every 2 weeks, never in the summer. I see where she's coming from, but I told her he's probably not doing too good. She then says he runs constantly in dog parks for more than an hour, so he's fine. I told her that's different. She says, "Okay, I hear you. Have a great day." Honestly, this is a rude response since I feel dismissed. Are we in the mind of a Karen right now? So I ask if she's going to stop. She says probably not. At this point, I'm mad, so I tell her she shouldn't have gotten this breed then. She then says, "Yeah, sure," then walks away. I told my wife about this, and she said this is one of the dumbest things I could have done, and I should have minded my own business. So, was I in the wrong? You're the a-hole. It started okay, you had a concern for the animal's well-being and seemed to voice it respectfully. She then showed that she was, in fact, knowledgeable of potential issues and planned to properly for them, as well as showing that she knew her own dog better than you do. At that point, you should have backed off. Instead, you escalated, and for that, you are the a-hole. Things went bad when she dismissed him. It sounds like he thinks he's entitled to her attention. There's a weird dynamic here. I know so many people that are annoyed by this word, but good lord, the mansplaining. ETA, I can't respond to all the triggered replies I'm getting, but I like hearing them. So please keep going because you've made me realize that the only people annoyed by this word are people I love to annoy. I am the all-knowing dog whisperer, Peter veterinarian expert, and you will listen to me. I heard little Gideon's voice here from Gravity Falls. Should have listened to your wife. You're the a-hole. Exactly. OP should have listened to his wife because what that girl does is none of his business. You're the a-hole. Oh, and it sounds like she was trying to be polite and OP was feeling entitled. It is his business to politely ask if she is aware about the breed's safety. After learning that she was aware of the issues, and more aware of them than he was, he should have backed off. The "it's none of your business" is an outdated mindset, but as you said, she was nice about him voicing his concerns and reassured him she knew about his breathing problems and had solutions to avoid exacerbating them. Then he became the massive a-hole when he continued. Exactly. Those dogs can have serious issues, so it's fine that he mentioned something at first. Lots of people can buy those types of dogs because they're cute and they don't do much research. However, once she proved knowledge about the situation, he should have shut up and moved on. She's obviously done her research and she knows her dog better than he does. He's a massive flaming a-hole. Posted by user Lost in the Clouds X, titled, "Am I the a-hole for saying I love my dog more than my kids? I've never had a motherly instinct. Don't like strings attached or being tied down. I've worked 60+ hour weeks since I was 18, and when I'm not working, I like to party. I ended up getting pregnant with a party friends with benefits 20 years ago. Fortunately for me, he was willing to take the baby and let me sign over all rights and responsibility. I quit partying, went through the pregnancy, and gave birth to a beautiful set of twin girls. I felt nothing that a mother should feel. They were gorgeous, but I felt as if I was looking at my friends' babies. All I wanted to do was heal and get back to my life. My family didn't care either way, and the baby's father had a solid support system with his parents and few sisters, so I felt relieved. It was a win-win. I promised him before the girls were born I would provide for the girls financially, but I did not want to be the mother figure. Without fail, I have paid for their school, vacations, etc. since they were born. They chose to have a relationship with me, but not in a mother-daughter capacity. I'll be around on birthdays or holidays if the timing is right, but don't want them waiting on me. I want them looking to their father and their mum for parental support. I see her as their real mum. He got with her less than a year after the kids were born, and they've been together ever since, but see below. A few months back, we had a good-sized New Year's party at my apartment. The girls and their parents were there with many other people. We have had parties like this many times. The twins have also been coming around my place more often in the past few years to hang out and whatever. Our relationship could be described as cool auntie/nieces. They've never made it apparent that they felt any kind of way except at this party. Something happened, and I said something along the lines of, "My dog is my baby. I couldn't live without him." Everyone was drinking, and whatever I said was in a flippant, light-hearted way. But twin number 1 gets snippy and passive-aggressive, then number 2 starts saying serious crap. I abandoned them, I never loved them, I'm a crap mother, and the worst, I left them to be raised by a stepmother. Their mum left in tears. Their dad was livid, and I told them to both kick rocks. They're lucky to have a stepmother, like her name. That they would have been a lot worse off if I was their mother figure. I told them that they can pee off until they apologize to their mother and resolve the conflict between themselves as a family. FYI, in my opinion, and from what I've witnessed in the last few decades, those girls can do no wrong in their mother's eyes, and are treated like princesses. Dare I say spoiled. They've been in therapy since mid-teens, and have never expressed these feelings to their parents, me, or their therapists. I don't feel it's my place to resolve this conflict, be present in the discussion, yes if asked, but not be the mediator. So, am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, for the simple fact is you hang around. Those children have a biological link and yearning for you, and for them to hear that must be awful, especially when you won't go away. It would be better for you to be absent than for them to hear they come second place to a dog. She was providing the financial support she promised, and the girls wanted to be with her. How is that her fault? The girls are at fault here for simply thinking that their current mother is trash, and that they can just treat her like that. It's not OP's fault that they have lashed out, it's on them. You can't treat adults and children as equal in this situation. They are not children anymore. From the OP, I think they're in their 20s, and that's absolutely crappy behavior with their mum. Because yes, their stepmother is their mum and the OP is their aunt, just like OP said. This kind of abandonment issues would have appeared way before that if there was ever an issue before. Teens can't control their emotions that well and would have lashed out if it was ever a problem. Now it just sounds like an adult temper tantrum meant to hurt and nothing else. You don't stop being the child in the situation, even if you think they're in their 20s. Abandonment issues don't discriminate on age, and also there is only an assumption the stepmother has treated them well. At some point, you need to be a grown adult and take responsibility for your words, actions, and feelings. This applies to them as well. Wow, this is such a bad take. It's shocking knowing how black and white you think this issue is. They are not children anymore. Okay, but how old were they when this all started? OP says the kids chose to have her in their lives, but at what age? She mentions coming around for birthday parties, which makes it sound like they were probably relatively young, and of course, children who have been abandoned by a parent are going to choose to have that parent back in their life. They're children, and having a deadbeat parent who flits in and out of your life on their own schedule hurts children. Every time. You're kidding yourself if you think you wouldn't have a problem with this if OP was a man. We're just not used to seeing mums in this situation. Kids don't understand child support. They understand that you're their mother and they have fun with you, but you're never around and you don't call them, and they don't know where you are or what you're doing, and their friends have mums who pick them up from school and make them snacks and care about their problems, and they love you, but they're confused. It was never fair to put them in the position of deciding to have their mother half-heartedly in their lives or never see her again. There was never a possibility that they wouldn't deal with any sort of resentment or abandonment issues. They're human beings. Saying that you love your dog like a child to the children you abandoned is obviously incredibly insensitive. Because yes, their stepmother is their mum and the OP is their aunt, just like OP said. It's not up to OP to decide her daughter's relationship with their stepmom. Only the daughters can choose that. You don't get to abandon your kids and come around twice a year and be the fun aunt/uncle and abdicate 100% of the emotional responsibility. Your kids are still going to have feelings about you and they're going to be incredibly complicated. This kind of abandonment issue would have appeared way before that. If they were ever an issue before, teens can't control their emotions that well and would have lashed out if there was ever a problem. The goal of you thinking you're in a position to state that because the girls expressed their feelings at 20 instead of 16, they must not be real is just astounding to me. I don't even know what to say to that. I guess I didn't realize that there was a statute of limitations after which your feelings become fake and invalid if you haven't expressed them, and that you, a random person on Reddit, get to decide that point for total strangers. I can't imagine what worldview you must have to read this situation and assertively state that the girls definitely don't have abandonment issues. It's certainly not an ongoing problem at all, and that they are obviously just petty, vindictive, bad people who choose to hurt others for no reason. Because they're 20 and 20-year-olds are adults, and adults don't have issues, only teenagers. Just wow. Yikes. And I think I'm going to leave that one there, guys. This is getting really salty, and people are replying angrily to that one too. I think OP is the a-hole in this situation for sticking around and keeping, that little emotional distance. I think you should have had a counselor to talk about this as the children were born. I feel like having kids and giving them over, especially as a mother, it's a big responsibility, and it's kind of very careless to do that to them. I think it's very, very bad. You can't do that. You just can't do it. Anyway, guys, that's my take. I'm going to hand you to AITA Markee now. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to tell me what you thought about it down in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, also don't forget to subscribe. It would really help out with my channel growth. And also, a huge shout out to my channel patrons and members. I just love you guys and thank you for supporting me on this journey. If you guys are new to the channel and you'd like to support me, links are down below for the Patreon, or you can click the join button next to subscribe if you'd like to become a channel member. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.